Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And later today, day 2 of the Kickoff Classic kicks off and concludes the final set of matches before the CDL 2021 season officially begins on February the 11th. Some big matches coming up later today we're going to talk about, but also some frustrations from the pro players regarding the state of the game right now. Some issues from the fan side in terms of how good it is to watch, but also from the pros in terms of some of the balance situations on some of these maps and also some of the weapons. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section on what should change going forwards, but all things considered, yesterday was a much better viewing experience than we had, I believe, at the start of Call of Duty Modern Warfare last year. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. A big thank you to Draftbuff.com for sponsoring today's video. Fantasy leagues are starting up already. Draftbuff Draft Royales coming in a couple of weeks time when the actual season does begin. I'm sure you guys are well itching to get going on those of you guys played in them last year. But yeah, Draftbuff leaders in the fantasy esports realm, and today is the last chance before the season officially begins to scout some players you might want to sign into your fantasy leagues with friends, or you can find them on the website or on the app companion as well. As Draftbuff tweet out right here, the average draft position, Octane's actually the #1 average drafted position player this season, followed by Simp, Cellium, Envoy and Arcitys. So well, if you guys want to keep an eye out today for who you're going to draft in your fantasy league, that is certainly something to do, because there's certainly some players yesterday that very much impressed, the likes of Neptune, the likes of ILLey for example, based on maybe the performance levels we might have been expecting from them this season. Let's hop into things then. So speaking of Neptune, Crone tweets out TJHaLy. Of course, he was kind of, ice skating on the side of the plane right here on Checkmate, and not something that we have really seen before. And that was the question, right? Is this broken? Should this be allowed? What Neptune's doing here on the side of the plane? Arcitys took him down without too much issue, so maybe it's not actually too strong, but certainly something which maybe shouldn't be allowed, kind of pixel walking on the side of the plane right here. And as Claser says, back in the day was kind of the arbiter of this type of stuff. I've made a judgment, final verdict, no, that was not an intended line of sight. Florida forfeits map 5, Atlanta FaZe win 3-2, #FaZe. I'm also interesting, I think the Mutineers have beaten FaZe like every time they've played them since they got Awakening in the team, I believe. So it's been a long time since FaZe have actually got the better of Florida, and yesterday it didn't happen once again, as we did talk about. And as Ben Spoon says right here, where do we even find this Neptune guy? I'm literally texting him right now, where do we even find this Neptune kid? Because he is out of control. But the questions, of course, were being raised. Should this be allowed? Should this be banned? How exactly do you get rid of it? Do we just hope the developers are going to patch that pixel walk out of the game, or are we just going to say it's GA'd to do that line of sight? Also, we talked yesterday about, as Josh says, both teams got the round win. I'm crying. I mean, it happened a few times before. I think in Black Ops 4 it happened a couple of times, but Florida actually won the round because the time ran out, but Simp killed Awakening just at the last second, and therefore it gave both teams the round win on the scoreboard. Another issue which maybe doesn't make the game look so good. So a few issues with the game right now, but of course I'm not the end of the world. It's just not perfect from the spectator side. But this is what Crone tweets out a couple of days ago about the updated gentleman's agreements and maybe affecting the way this game looks to play, right? Because right now, okay, the AK-47's gone. Honestly, right now, the Krig and the XM4 is quite a nice meta to watch. There's definitely some personal preference in what people are using, but the snipers are gone and the smokes are now entirely gone. There was a question, okay, the snipers will be allowed in search, but with only one attachment. The smokes will be allowed in search and you'll be able to have maybe 2 of them or 1 of them on a team. But now they are completely gone. I admit the smokes are pretty broken, and the snipers, because they don't have any aim flinch, they also can be very strong. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who were arguing yesterday, like, look, Search and Destroy was pretty dull to watch without any smoke plays and without any snipers, right? Snipers are kind of the lifeblood, you could argue, of Search and Destroy, and the fact that they're not even being allowed. And as I believe Scrap said in reply to a tweet in just a second, because Crow tweets out, feel awful, just want snipers back in Search and Destroy. Scrap says, I was so ready to show people what I had lined up with that thing as well. So really interesting that the pros have just got rid of snipers. Doesn't seem like they're coming back anytime soon. And from my perspective, it does make the game less enjoyable to watch for Search and Destroy. And also on a map like Garrison, for example, without smokes, what do you really do, right? Defense is winning basically every single round on Garrison. I think in the Surge LAG match, it was like 8 out of 9 rounds were won by the defensive team. I think in the other match that was played on Garrison Search and Destroy, it was a very similar figure as well. The defense dominates on that map, partly because you could argue there's no snipers that the offensive team can use to get a pick on a defender, and given that one of the bomb sites is basically completely inaccessible, you're just playing a 1 bomb site map over that B bomb site, and even that's very difficult to get down without any smoke grenades, right? So definitely doesn't make the gameplay ideal in my opinion. Snipers maybe should come back, smokes maybe should come back in part. I wish they would fix them so they don't do the one-way stuff, but yeah, the pros have gotten rid of them. But at the same time, does that make the best Search and Destroy experience? Probably not. It does seem very one-dimensional right now, as Octane's going to say in a second. Claser said this a few days ago as well. Stupidest map in COD history. cannot believe we are playing this. So very frustrated with the spawns we looked at the time here on Crossroads Hardpoint, which was played once yesterday between the Mutineers and the Atlanta FaZe. So still some question marks as exactly what the map set is looking like, but all things considered, the game's in a much better state now than we were for Modern Warfare this time last year. So certainly some step ups, but also some things that if they aren't changed, we're probably not looking at the ideal game well, a few months down the line. So as Octane says, a few things that he's kind of had some issues with. This came out from GodRx on the 20th of January, tweeting, well, what Parasite had. Parasite, of course, typically a main assault rifle type player, but right here with the AK-74 absolutely beaming someone through these steps right here. I mean, this is an incredible gunfight win just to bop someone through like that for the 7th streak for Parasite. And as Octane says, of course, a main assault rifle player, we always talk about this, the fact that the ARs and the SMGs always go back and forth on which weapons are overpowered, which weapons are too strong. That gunfight was actually ridiculous. As Octane says, no sub will ever convince me with any argument that this gun is balanced. So I'm not really sure what Octane exactly wants to be done about this. Do we want the 74U to be GA'd, right? Do we go into an MP5 situation? It's not going to happen because this is the type of gun the pros tend to love. No recoil, it shoots very straight, kind of like a traditional SMG that we may have seen in previous games. But he thinks it may well be too strong in comparison to the XM4 and the Krig, given the AK-47 is now GA'd entirely. So yeah, Octane maybe not too happy with the weapon balancing in the game at the current state, and also kind of frustrated with how Garrison Search and Destroy is playing so one-dimensional, which I do completely agree with him on, right? Offensives feel so bad to play with minimal playmaking ability. Like, what are you meant to do? There's those absolute god spots over by green. You're never getting through to green to the A-bomb site unless it's in a 1 versus 1. So what do? You just play picks, try and trade out kills until you get to a 1v1 and then go for the plant. It's very tough to say, because when, well, the defense gets easy vent control as well. I mean, there's really not too much to be done on this map, and a lot of the time, well, the defense is just incredibly favored with no snipers in the game and also with no smokes to make any kind of nice plays. So very interesting to see how this goes going forwards. I imagine a lot of the pros may well get very frustrated with Garrison Search and Destroy, and when I think on February the 4th, when Express comes into the game, that may be the map that goes. Maybe they want Miami to go as well, and when Standoff comes, if it does, I imagine we're going to get a complete overhaul to the Search and Destroy map. So maybe these issues won't be present for too long, but still, the lack of smokes, the lack of snipers may impede how good Search and Destroy is to watch this year. But thankfully, the other game modes were pretty damn good, all things considered. So later today, there are more matches, of course, on the horizon. Brandon Dashy has certainly been getting ready for them, as he says right here, respectable beams. This, I guess, is in public matches, but a 53% accuracy with the Krig is pretty remarkable, to be honest. I mean, obviously, this gun does shoot very straight, but still, pretty impressive stuff. So Dashy gearing up for maybe a great series here up against the Los Angeles Thieves. Slash was saying on the podcast yesterday, he's definitely taking this match serious. Maybe he'll save a few things in the Search and Destroys in terms of strats they have been working on, but yeah, everything else they are trying to win. They are trying to take down OpTic Chicago, because look, at the end of the day, this is a big morale booster, right? If you're Los Angeles Thieves, or really if you're any team this weekend, if you can win this matchup against a good team, that's gonna mean a lot for your team going forward, right? And that was kind of the question mark when Clayster was tweeting about, okay, it's just a scrimmage, it's just a scrim, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. That's well, that mindset isn't going to help, right? At the end of the day, yes, it is just a scrim set, it doesn't matter, but if you do get a good map win, if you do get a good result, that might build some camaraderie within your team to say, look, we can actually go toe-to-toe with the Dallas Empire. Didn't happen here, though, and Los Angeles Thieves are going to try and do the same thing up against OpTic Chicago, and I do believe Chicago should be favourites in this one. Speaking of OpTic Chicago, a few days ago, OpTic actually came out with a video on their YouTube channel for the first time in a very long time, of course, since Hector Rodriguez has taken back ownership, and yeah, this was beautifully edited and crafted by Roger and the guys over there. So it was the first episode of this new The Process video series that they're going with, kind of like Vision V2, I imagine. So cool to see some more great content around the Call of Duty scene at the very least. As Nadeshot says yesterday, I am subbing in for Temp tomorrow to take down Scump and Formal myself. So yeah, Nadeshot's ready to sub in if required. And then, well, if of course the Temp versus Nadeshot drama that happened several years ago now. But yeah, OpTic Chicago, we will see you tomorrow. The timelines are as follows. First matchup of the day, Royal Ravens versus the Paris Legion, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. at Greenwich Meantime, Ultra Minnesota Rokkr, and then to finish off the day, Chicago versus Los Angeles Thieves. Just before this matchup, there's going to be the group draw show. So we did look at this a while ago, but Dallas Empire then get to draw Atlanta FaZe's first opponent for stage 1, and then it kind of goes back and forth to the point where we do have the two groups for the stage 1 of the Call of Duty League 2021. Just to finish off with this, I thought it was hilarious from TacticalRab Academy. They do not miss the advertisement, the product, and Crim tweeted this out. So yeah, good result for the boys. And then, well, they'll be hitting up the timeline with some more bangers, I'm sure, over the next 24 hours. Enjoy to hear your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Thank you to Draftbuff for supporting this content. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. Really really helps out the YouTube algorithm that you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
Yeah, you're gone.
Nothing.
Oh, what the? Bro, I can't see him because of his white suit, bro.
No way, dude. Way better.
Oh! Oh! What the? Fake?
Tyler, and they're